I feel like the VR aspect, and I think you guys can also both agree with this. I feel like there's more expression we could kind of portray in VR, and the way of how I
Mm.
naturally express myself is I'm moving around way too much. I talk with my hands and do.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion. And a certain tiny furball finally decides to join us.
Doesn't know. He's getting old and senile too, just like me, but he's full of shit. I'm Old Man Raptor, and our guest is.
Hi, I'm Kaiyo. Nice to meet you all. Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to actually meet you. I've seen some of your stuff around with the
Yes.
YouTube algorithm and friends suggesting. And you do some pretty good work. Oh. So,
Yeah.
what is it you're best known for here in VR chat, and how'd you get started with everything, or even into the platform?
Well, I would say currently I'm known for host my own podcast, also on YouTube on VRChat, in VRChat, and I'd say yeah, about a year and a half ago, which a lot of people are kind of shocked about. It's a little bit of a tiny bit of a little story. I have a preschool friend that basically I've known for a while, and he on June or no, January 2nd of 2023 like bust through my front door of my house, was like, "You are downloading VRChat because that Quest 1 that I told you to get back in 2020, you were downloading VRChat against your will, get a Steam account and you're getting on here." Ever since then I've never been able to hop off, and I've been trapped here, and I have over 3K hours in like a year and a half.
Holy crap. Damn.
Damn, he's not addictive. He's just part of the clan like everybody else. He just got stuck here and forgot to get his oars. Knowing we have ocean behind us, we
Oh.
can't get
I
off the
forgot to take
island.
a headset off.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
Oh.
Wow, you know what he's doing, Lion?
Oh.
If he's not getting off his headset, he's got to have a piss bucket beside him somewhere.
Well,
You just got to,
to be
because that'd be
fair,
a real
Raptor.
problem to go to the bathroom.
To be fair, Raptor,
What?
most of the VR chat population, if they could live here, they would. We know that one person who wakes up is in VR chat because they slept there the night before, hangs out in VR chat all day, eats in VR chat, then sleeps in VR chat, and then repeats the next day. We all have that one friend.
Yeah, sure.
Guaranteed.
But I still want to ask those people if we got a piss bucket next to their chair or wherever they're doing, because there's no way in hell you could unplug your gear and go to the bathroom with this bitch on your head. You'd run into everything.
Very, very simple solution. Catheters.
Yeah, but what? Whoa! No offense, not to interrupt you. Whoa! Okay, catheter's one thing, but how the hell are you gonna take a shit?
Similar situation. You do realize there's a poop version of a catheter.
Oh, so it feels like you're in space. It just sucks it out of your ass. Got you. Understand. Back to you, sir.
Fair warning, it's been a couple weeks since Raptor and I have been able to bust each other's chops, so I do very much apologize. How did you get started with
Sorry.
the podcast, by the way? What inspired it, and what led you to want to run one?
So in the first place, it actually didn't start in VRChat. So I watched this other podcast on YouTube called Trash Taste, and I was inspired by that. I was like, I'll just start a podcast. I started it on Discord for like the first 4 or 5 episodes. I put it on hold for a while, switched over to other content for a while, and then one day I was like, I'll come back to it. And then I've been here for a year ever since I started doing VR podcast episodes.
I
Oh,
got a question for him, Line. I got a question for him. Since you started your broadcast and stuff, what was the hardest thing that you had to do while you were in your broadcast?
I'd say the most difficult thing was learning how to really bounce between conversations and everything. But once you kind of get a hold of that, it's everything goes pretty smoothly. Yeah.
okay. How since since it sounds like you're fairly new with the podcasting thing, how do you feel at what you've done so far? Like once you've started and been having the conversations and running the podcast.
I'd say they're pretty fun. Yeah, I really enjoy them. I really use this as just a way to meet people and meet new friends. I love talking to people,
Hmm.
and people say I yap too much. I've been called on multiple occasions, one of the professional talkers of VRChat.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. They call this
Oh,
VR chat, not VR sit. So
So what the fuck's your excuse? You're sitting on your ass now.
I'm doing both the VR sitting and VR chatting at the same time. Multitasking.
Well, there goes your toaster.
I mean, there goes my toaster. Either way.
You don't get no points for that. You don't get no points for that. You don't get the toaster. Sorry, folks.
Fair.
I got another one. I got another question. How did you ended up getting the name that you picked out? That's usually
So the name actually, AKL Kaiyo, the AKL part of the name is actually from about 7 years ago when I first started my YouTube channel. I've been around for way too long, god damn it. I was really into Pokemon, and it's basically just I wanted to have everything on one channel. So I was like, well, back in the day, before YouTube Studio and everything, I was like, you kind of just have to upload a video and kind of send it, right? Like you didn't really have like all the statistics and everything back in the day. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna start uploading videos. The first ever video was 2017. I think you guys can remember a little bit. It was the vlog year. Every person in God's name was fucking doing a vlog in 2017. My first video was a Hawaii vlog one, pretty epic.
Oh.
Um,
Was it about the same
after that, my
time
middle, yeah,
van life things happened?
oh yeah,
Oh, sorry to
totally,
interrupt
totally. After, oh yeah, after that, kind of like I stopped because my middle school found out about the whole vlog situation. I got embarrassed and I stopped that. Then the name comes from the content after was I started uploading Pokemon videos, and it comes from AKL or Ash Ketchum's Life. The L stands for I wanted to keep everything in one place because I just wanted to make videos for fun. So that's kind of where that came from. And then the other part of the name Kaiyo is just my name. So
you. Oh. Wow, that's
oh,
pretty awesome. So
Okay, cool.
what kind of content in your podcast do you normally do, may I ask? Like what kind of conversations are you shooting for?
I'll be completely honest. I really just shoot for really natural, kind of just regular conversations. When I give a pitch of my podcast to people, I'm like, I just find cool people. I want to talk to people, and we just sit down for 30 minutes and talk for 30 minutes to an hour. That's pretty much what it is. I just bounce topics and conversation, and that's what it is. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. That Alrighty. So what kinds of things have you learned so far from the conversations you've had up to now?
A lot about on a lot of my friends. So, of course, like a bunch of people that I interview are club owners or other people that are from many communities, but all of them are my friends. I love talking to people, getting to know people, and what I've learned from a lot of these episodes and doing these is learning more about my friends and just doing that whole conversation thing for about an hour. I just get to deep dive into that person for an hour. Just ask them whatever I want, and it usually goes really good. It's pretty fun. And yeah, it's just really interesting with those.
It sounds real interesting. Is there anything particular that comes to mind that you learned from talking with your friends that you didn't know prior?
Oh, a lot of things. It's for example, one of my favorite ones recently is I saw you guys also interviewed her, Rue.
Mm.
Rue's amazing. She's great. She's been a friend of mine for a bit now, and very talented person, loves music and everything. Um, One of the big things, my favorite thing that I talked about in that episode was her trip to Japan and that whole journey of how she got into VR, that Japan trip, and how it impacted her, and just learning those amazing things about my friends. Honestly, it's just inspiring and amazing of how talented these people are, and kind of putting all that out on the internet and these videos are kind of just for me in itself too. Of since I'm learning more about my friends, the whole world and the internet could learn about it, and also I could just go back if I want to look at these memories again and look at them too.
Hmm. Are you glad that you've started it and been running it this long, may I ask? Are you glad you decided to have conversations with your friends and learn more about yourself and them?
Oh, 100%. I've been doing this for almost a year now. At
Oh.
least the VR portion of the podcast, and I love it. Currently, right now, I'm doing a series, my first ever series, actually, called the Trans Academy series.
Hmm.
It's called the season one because I eventually want to do more stuff on it. But the VRC Trans Academy is a community in VRChat. There is actually a event called Trans Pride VR 2024 coming up from the 7th through the 9th. So like a VR 3-day convention thing coming up. And first, second week of Pride Month, which is coming up in about a couple weeks, and that series was supposed to kind of just hype up that whole month. And I was like, let's do it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Hmm. Okay. So, how do you feel about doing a series versus a regular podcast? What's different about it?
The only really thing that I found from a series that's different from the usual episodes is it's still, of course, interviewing my friends, but it's just a bunch of my friends from the staff team on Trans Academy.
Hmm.
So I usually pitch the idea to, for example, a bunch of my friends that are on various staff positions on the team, and I'm like, would you want to be on this? And that's kind of the pitch. And there will be a total of around 7 or 8 episodes in the final season one of the series.
Okay. Oh. So, what made you want to do the series outside your regular podcast?
What wanted me to get into a series was honestly it was just with most of my ideas they're kind of just brainstorm ideas. I sometimes I have the most worst goddamn ADHD of all fucking time. The most random ideas will pop in my head sometime. I'm like, hey, a series would be cool. Let's do that. Let's let's do something like that.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. Hey, if that's how you do things, perfectly fine. Have you started it yet, may I ask?
Yes, I have started that series. There are currently 4 episodes out on YouTube, and yeah, it's been going pretty good so far. And I'm currently working on the episode 25 version of that, and that will be out next week. There will be 3 more episodes about in that series.
Hmm. Do you have any plans of doing anything like that similar in the future?
Of course, yeah. So, hence the season one kind of aspect of it. But I was planning on probably after the series just doing going back to regular podcast stuff with friends, and then probably putting that on hold, and then coming back to it later. I would definitely want to do some sub series, trying with like just like smaller mini series of podcasts, or definitely a more broadened season two of that sometime. That would be really cool.
Hmm. Okay. Now, on a random question, you mentioned earlier that when you first got into VR chat, you were hooked almost immediately. What was your first day like that made you hooked, and what about VR chat keeps you coming back?
I feel like for me, what got me hooked was the introduction that I got from my friends. So, the very first, I was introduced to a very first good world. I feel like I still hang out there today. It's the public world called the Great Pug in VR chat. Very good,
Hmm.
very. You meet everyone at the Great Pug. Holy sh! I've met way too much people at the Pug, and I still meet amazing people there, like almost every single week at night. Amazing spot to hang out at. And with that story of just that introduction, I feel like your introduction to VR chat is so important for a lot of users because it's that deciding factor of if you want to stay or if you didn't get a good first impression of it.
Hmm.
I got a question for him, Line.
Shoot.
Got a question. So when you first time you went to the pug and everything else like this, what was the weirdest thing that you saw and you just sat there and scratched your head at?
It was definitely I made friends like first second night with shout out to my friend Dinosaur Nuggets Lover. They're from Australia. They're very cool. I think they're still a desktop user, but they have a lot of fun in VR chat, and they have around maybe 2,500 hours, 2,500 hours on desktop mode, which I find
Damn.
crazy. Um, it's yeah, they love VR chat and they don't let that stop them. And but basically that first night, they were talking about VR chat ERP. And I was like, "What the fucking hell is that?" I'm like, "Hey, yo!" I'm like,
Day one, ERP.
Oh wow. P.
day one, the
Yeah.
topic comes up. I'm like, "Hey, yo!"
Holy crap, mini. Oh
Oh,
boy.
though.
I can imagine that one, how that bumped into a fucking conversation you just can't get rid of, and you go, really? Wow. And you just stand there and listen, and then you go, are you serious? Are you really serious, or are you
Are
just
you
pulling
serious
my
right now?
leg?
You know something you said earlier? Yes, I do very much. When I do agree with you when you said your first steps in VR chat is the deciding factor if you stay or not. We've heard lots of stories and similar things where some people will come in and they'll like go into the black hat, see utter chaos, and go, "Yeah, no, I don't wanna," and they'll leave and come back later. I do. It is like it is. I do agree with you with that statement.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, for about the first month of the VR chat, for I guess more basic, just beginning experiences, I hung around the pug for a while. I never really, of course, like I made so much friends that we bounced the world a bunch like per week, but that kind of was that whole first month was a journey in itself. I'd say at the very end of the month it was 400 friends made with like 300 hours or something. Over
Hmm.
300 hours. I
Damn.
was spending way
Holy
too much time.
shit.
Yeah. And then like February for that was end of February, and then definitely after that was like a K. I sped run to a K at like 1,000 hours. It was dangerously bad.
Damn. So what about the VR chat experience makes you want to put in that kind of time?
I will say this much, and I feel like a lot of my ADHD brethren out there can agree to this. VR chat is a freaking amazing place, and if you put a heavily ADHD person into this environment, you are fucking trapped here. You cannot escape. There is way too much goddamn distractions. I will say it. There is so much fucking distractions. It was a disaster.
Well, you can look at one thing, Lion. He's not a mirror drawer. He ain't a mirror licker. He just he's just fucking moving around.
Oh, so this environment very much stimulates you in terms of being in, having a good time while you're here.
Of course. And I mean, a kind of whole like just general meme or a joke that I kind of make is I go into a public world. This is me. Everyone on this list in this public world is a goddamn victim. I will talk to them. I see people as victims. I will talk to. I will talk to everyone in that world.
Got another question for him. Since where you have what do you say it was?
ADHD.
Does it help you with being in VR? No, knowing what you have, does it help you in any form? What I mean is, how in the hell do you want to put it? There's a way to put it.
Are you asking, does
Brain fart.
ADHD
Putting down.
help you in VR, or does VR help you with ADHD?
Both.
Okay.
Two questions at once.
Okay.
So to the first question, I feel like For me, I feel like I'd be very different without my ADHD. I feel like it's something that's just a part of me, and it's always been a part of me. I'm very energetic. I've always been kind of hyperactive. I talk with my hands. I move a lot. I do I I do a lot of this because it is part of the ADHD hyperactiveness, but it's just kind of part of my just core of like who I always remember myself to be. And people kind of are shocked by that, I found in VR, because a lot of people are antisocial or just they want to talk to people, but they have very heavy social anxiety. And I've explained even on my show that even without ADHD, you can socialize with people. It's just you have to kind of teach yourself a certain algorithm or honestly, you just kind of have to send it. Like for example, if there's a person over there, it's like you gotta hype yourself up. You gotta be like, I got this. I'm gonna go talk to them. But by the time you think of that, you just gotta go do it. You gotta be like, by the time you say hi, you just gotta fully commit. You're like, you got yourself in this situation. Follow through and talk to them.
Mm. Something else I found works too is if you're like like for example, I'm a very much an introverted kind of person, but one of the things I found is putting yourself in social situations repeatedly makes you more comfortable and accustomed to being in those situations, which makes it more easier and less stressful. At least that's what I found. Like learning a
Yeah, of
skill.
course. And yeah, yeah. Learning skills and what I've even said of like just constantly learning and learning new skills and kind of just doing all that. If I personally think if you're not constantly learning at least one new skill a week, it's life's just kind of boring, you know? Like just constantly learning new stuff is amazing.
Hmm. You know, you saying that reminds me of something Raptor told me once is if you're not learning anything in life, you might as well be dead. Or something of that nature.
Talk. I don't know what you're talking about.
You've said that a few times. Don't play dumb.
I'm
Raptor was
not
like, it wasn't
playing
me.
dumb.
Raptor like, it was me. Raptor like, it
It
was
was
me.
me? You sure it was not somebody that looked like me? Oh, no, no. There's only one of me, thank God. If there was two of me, I think I'd shoot
How
myself.
many hamster-sized stage sponges do you know in this game?
That's what you're going to call it. That's what you're going to fucking call it. Usually you call it something else, you smart ass. What the fuck is... Never mind. Sorry, folks. Back to the person we're talking to. Oh,
Oh,
boy.
what about VR keeps you coming back and running content here?
Honestly, every time I hop on VR, I just am here to hang out and have fun.
Mm.
And for example, with the episodes and things, they kind of just happen in a way. I mean, of course, I have a schedule, and I do personally, I do 2 episodes a month,
Oh.
and I have that schedule to not burn out. And I do all the scheduling, editing, and time coding for the episodes and thumbnailing and everything. I do everything by myself. Um, it's I guess it's the form of like the creative freedom part of it, and the way of I might, if it becomes bigger at some point, even I might get someone to help me with scheduling or just other aspects of it. But the core part of like I feel like the video editing part is where things come together, and that filmmaking part of where episodes and things come together and all that. That's what I fell in love with content creation in the first place, and I feel like that's the magic, where all the magic comes together in the editing part
Hmm.
of a video.
What did you expect it to be like when you first started? Because I know I had my expectations. It was going to be hard and daunting, and kind of was at first. But I'm curious as to what you thought it was versus how it ended up being like.
For content creation in general, I feel like I didn't really see it as daunting. As a very dumb 14-year-old child back in middle school would once say, I just wanted to do this for fun. I just started uploading videos for fun. It was a for fun thing, and then just the whole journey till now, that 7-year journey of experimenting with so much different types of videos, content, types of editing tricks, styles, and topics and everything that I've done throughout the years. It's just fun, and it's just all I have to say to the future content creators and everyone out there is have fun with it. Don't focus on numbers, views, or just anything like that. You just have to have fun with it. And if you have that passion and you have kind of just that core thing of content creation, things will come together eventually. And you'll find
Hmm.
your core niche of what you want to do.
Indeed. Also, consistency. That's one of the things I've noticed here, like with the
Yeah.
VR chat podcasting world. Consistency doesn't seem to be something you see a lot often. But very recently, I've saw a bunch of more podcasts like yours posting regularly. So I think it's, yeah, consistency.
Yeah, I have to agree on that. Consistency to a certain extent. Of course, please take care of yourself. Burnout is evident. Please. Um, consistency is very important because the algorithm is shit. I think we all know this. YouTube algorithm would be like, um, yeah. Other than that, it's pretty good.
No, what were you? I know you said in middle school you just wanted to do it for fun. When you started running like a YouTube channel and doing a podcast, what were you expecting it to be like, and how did it end up being once you started running it?
I guess to that more or less. I kind of just wanted to have fun with it. Like, kind of thinking of because I didn't really know how a podcast was supposed to go. The only podcast I really ever watched was like 2 to 3 episodes of Trash Taste because I actually really liked the guys a part of that, and I was like, well, their concept is they just sit down and talk about cool things, and I was like, I want to sit down and talk about cool things. Let's do that, and put my own spin on it.
Okay. How much did you end up having to learn in the like making a podcast route versus what you're normally used to?
I'd say I didn't honestly have to learn much on it. It was really the whole thing that's a little rough that comes with a podcast definitely is there's two forms of types of podcasts, which are uncut podcasts and edited down versions, which I kind of do. I feel like I do still 30-minute to hour long episodes, but I do edit them down to have more of a smoother feel when they go through when I even watch back the episode. Personally, with awkward pauses and stuttering, sometimes I even do. I feel like just making a conversation flow better in general is what I find to be what makes a conversation have its charm. Like
Hmm.
a really good flowy hour-long conversation. Of course, it's not for everyone, or more people really love the uncut versions of a podcast, which I think is amazing. Not, I kind of want to direct this a little bit back to you guys, but do you guys do uncut? Because I was watching a lot of
Yeah.
your stuff.
Yeah, our content is very much uncut. Now there is some editing in it, but that editing is like if the world is dark, I'll brighten it up. I'll find it.
Yeah,
I'll find the hook of the conversation. Throw at the beginning as a teaser. We'll throw in our ad reel. We'll throw in the outro. And other than that, everything else is uncut. We don't touch the conversation. There's been a couple of times in which I had to kind of cram things together and edit it because I crashed and died, and I had to like make the conversation seem together while also showing, hey, there was some
yeah,
issues. But I personally enjoy the uncut conversation because I kind of like when I bring a guest on such as yourself, I kind of want the audience to see you for who you are. I feel like I'm robbing the audience of authenticity when I edit them down, but that's just my take. Everyone does
of
things the
course, of
way
course,
differently, and I'm not going to preach at you, but that's the way I see it. What about you? What makes
of
you want
course,
to
and
do the edited thing? Sorry.
I kind of want to comment on that a little bit. I was talking with the Bloody Resh or Resh on this, my other really good friend. Um, he's really cool. I was talking with Resh about how your guys' stuff is amazing with the uncut stuff and how you guys have that hook because I feel like it is very cool how you guys do that. I feel like with I'm going for a more very consistent like intro-y kind
Hmm.
of like, hey guys, welcome back. Like this is like your typical like kind of funny like opening or intro kind of you
Hmm.
have, and then it's really just jump straight into the content like after like a 10-second intro. And more or less of why I edit down are I say make the conversation go smoother is I love the authenticity of a conversation or how it flows and the naturalness of the conversation is I feel like what we both go for. But I see the difference between what we both go for is the uncut style is very different and very well needed in this whole podcasting niche. Um, and the only reason why I edit stuff down is because I'm a perfectionist and I like things to be perfect in what I see of perfect in my eyes.
Hmm.
I'm just, yeah,
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm
yeah.
of the same mind, but the way I think about editing the content is getting better at conversating myself. Like this, Raptor can contest to this. But one of the things I do with the way like the editing of the content is I'll rewatch all the old episodes and then I'll start ripping it apart. It's like, yeah, the guests seem very stressed and anxious here, and that's kind of on me because I kind of became overbearing in this section. Maybe I should calm down when the guests seem like this. And Raptor like, well, they didn't seem too stressed out. Maybe they're just a little stuck, and we'll just kind of be in that kind of a conversation where it's like, well, how would we push through a moment like X, Y, or Z, or how do we carry ourselves in the conversation? And I'll do it that way. And but I know it's not something for everybody. I'm not the best conversator per se, so the only thing I can really do is just that.
I just like talking a lot. I mean,
I'm not
I
going
don't
to
know what
answer
to
that. I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, but kind of just going off, shifting off that.
Hmm.
I just like talking. Um, I'm very awkward too. With how fast I talk sometimes with ADHD, there are a couple stumbling over words or a lot of repeating of certain things, or cause I'm very I've always had that with video editing or content. I guess it comes from my filmmaking background with YouTubers since I've been around for in the scene for so long with other types of content and editing. I feel like to a certain extent I always have to edit down something or have a finished product. If something's more a little bit uncut and unedited, I feel like it's unfinished. If in my eyes,
Mm.
of that's how I see something.
Okay. What what do you think causes that feeling of things need to be edited down?
I feel like with that, it's I find it to be the core of making not a film, but kind of just keeping the engagement too. Because one thing I've learned throughout YouTube and how the market and everything, how everything's changed, even with long form content, of how if you have a pause, for example, I mean this just might be paranoia, but off like a 10-20 second pause, I'm like, that is also a chance where that viewer is like, why is there a pause here? I'm going to click off the video. And I'm like,
Hmm.
with a little bit of some fast paced cutting and bringing things together, without that pause, it's more of a straight shot cut conversation. You're not cutting out the authenticity of it.
Hmm.
It's just making the conversation flow a little better. I know with podcasts and a lot of podcasts, people don't cut them down because it is a way too much work. I feel that pain. There's a reason why I do two a month. Help me. I'm in the editing room. I'm in the cooker.
Oh, trust me,
Other than
I
that, they're
understand your
pretty
pain.
fun. Yeah.
Well,
I don't.
yeah, you just gotta sit there and look pretty.
Ha ha ha. Is my makeup on right?
I think the makeup's there. I saw it when we came.
Oh, thank you.
So you mentioned
God
earlier
damn,
you
I
have
got
a
makeup artist, bitch.
you have a YouTuber background. How much of that aided you in what you're doing now for content?
I feel like it aided a lot with how everything I learned over the years and really shifting to a podcast, which is very heavily different with just content wise and how to market a podcast is very difficult in a way, and it's very I feel like a very bold thing to do because what you see often in the common podcast market nowadays is big creator has big following usually. For example, like Connor from CDogVA or Garnt or Joey, the anime man. They are all three separate people that are, in my opinion, very amazing creators, but they all came together and were like, let's start a podcast. It's kind of that. No one really starts off first with a podcast. They usually have a sort of an audience first and then start a podcast. With how I wanted to do that, I was like, I kind of wanted to, in a way, fully commit to a podcast because I was like, this is really cool. I really enjoy this when I really got into the VR stuff. And it was also, I did have, I guess, a little bit of a, I wouldn't say like smaller, I call it my little corner of the internet, a little small, 800 follower cult following, let's go. And I just wanted to have fun with some friends and talk about stuff. So that's kind of how that podcasting started.
Hmm. Okay. So how much of the skill set you've accumulated as a content creator prior to a podcaster it helps you with transitioning into the new content?
I feel like it helps with just any sort of like gaining skills over the years does help.
Hmm.
I'd say the whole natural kind of just like talking and everything with that came separately because more of the content I focused on over the years was either here's a piece of content, let's react to it, or here's a Pokemon thing, let's do that, or let's do a gaming video, or just very typical like let's switch it up, let's do something with the very typical YouTube style. Let's create something. Let's do a video or a short form video of that. I never really ever aimed for long form except for the 40 times I did live streams. Those were fun. Um, they were all right. um, yeah, and kind of with that, it's the video editing part. I feel like will always help. The skill of my editing and how it's evolved over the years, I feel like is very important for just a skill to have in general. I feel like is very cool, but for any content creator, I feel like video editing for me is what inspired me in the first place. I was like, I want to create a story. I want to bring something together. I want to cut a video and make or sort of like even just a masterpiece of a creation or something. I love making things. I love the creative aspect of YouTube.
Hmm. Okay. So, what was some of your first videos that you made initially, and also, what was your first podcast as well? Hello, just real quick. I'll only take a few seconds of your time. In the description, that way you have a card, metaversedegen.card.co. We have many links down there for you to come check out. We have an X link, which is with me. We have a Discord where we hang out and do stuff all the time, as well as a Patreon link, where if you wish to support us, you can. Where there's also a show and another podcast separate from Metaverse Degen, that which we have available to our wonderful members who signed up, such as Niche, Training Fangs, Aliquum, and Forbidden Zero. Thank you all. You're all amazing. Enjoy the rest of your video. I won't take up any of your time.
First video, it's this is actually gonna be very fun to compare. First video was Hawaii Vlog 1. It's imagine there's an iPhone 6 here. It's hey guys, welcome to YouTube. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm a 14-year-old kid that wants to film themselves and be stupid for like 6 minutes. That was basically that first video. No idea what I was doing. I just filmed myself. um, and uploaded it to the internet with very basic iMovie skills. That was fun. Um, Comparing to the first ever sit down, I called it, it was more of a Discord podcast. It was more grab cool person, not in VR, of course, and put him in this Discord call and have not a webcam or a webcam on, and we just talk. It was more the same thing, just in Discord. And that very first episode was the title of what it was. It's still on the channel if you want to go check that out. But it was I have an anime body pillow. I could explain that story a little bit if you want to know about that.
Sure, I'd love to hear the story.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me the body pillow was talking.
No. Hey, yo, wait.
No. Wait.
The short story behind that was it was like senior night or something. Like it was I was like almost done with senior year of high school. We went to Santa Cruz. It was very cool. Got back at like 3-4 in the morning. I literally thought I was hallucinating. I walked through the door. It's like 4 in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck is that? There was a pillow on my chair. I was like, the fuck is that? I walked out of the room. I rubbed my eyes, walked back in. I was like, I'm not fucking hallucinating. That is a Hinata Shoyo body pillow from Haikyuu. I was like, the fuck is that? I chucked it out of my room and went to sleep.
So that's quite interesting, though. You started a Discord podcast with your anime body
Yeah.
pillow as the topic. What led you to doing it in VR? What made you want to do no longer a Discord podcast, but in a VR podcast?
I feel like the VR aspect, and I think you guys can also both agree with this. I feel like there's more expression we could kind of portray in VR, and the way of how I naturally express myself is I'm moving around way too much. I talk with my hands and do certain things a lot, and I feel like I could express that way more in VR. And it's the whole more way you can express yourself with any avatar or an avatar that you feel like that matches your IRL or real identity even, or just the personalization of being there with the guests. Because even in Discord, it's like it kind of just seems like we're having a conversation with someone, but in here on a beach in God knows where the fuck are we? It feels like I'm actually here with you guys, talking with you guys. Like here, like it's so much more interactive and cool.
Okay. So what was the first episode in VR of your podcast then? What was the one you decided I want to try it here? And how did it end up?
The very first episode actually happened with two of my very good friends, Tibber and Kalina, of the Friday Night Dance Party community in VR chat. They host a event at the Great Pug every Friday at 5 p.m. PST and 8 p.m. EST. I think 1 a.m. BST, like British Standard Time. I think, yeah. And yeah, it's a dance party event. It's very cool. And the title of that one was the Dance Duo of VR. Very cool friends. We just kind of just talked about cool stuff and filmed in the pug with their very cool dance party decorations.
Oh.
Yeah.
So at that time when you went from a Discord podcast into the great doing it in VR chat in the Great Pug, did it feel different to you? And what about it made you enjoy or dislike it? Comparing.
I really enjoyed it more. It was the presence of being there with the guest and also just the freedom to express myself more and to do this and move around and have more freedom with I feel like the conversation and how I can express myself and show more I feel like genuine of who I am and myself of like how more expressive I could be and more of a menace to society because I move around too much and talk too much. Hello.
I don't think you're a menace to society at all. You seem like a very pleasant person to be around. Give yourself more credit.
But yeah, the VR podcast thing, I don't know. I don't know. I say that because it's I don't know. I've been told I have enough energy to power 100 people. I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that at all. What makes you uniquely you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did the first couple of episodes in VR go for you? Was it a direction you glad you went towards? And what kind of conversations did you end up finding yourself having when you made that transition?
After the first 3 episodes ish, I really, really loved it. It was more of the conversations were actually a little different. I usually say I have typically like 2 to 3 opening questions about what the like dying questions I want to ask the guest, or I do like a little bit of research on the guest, or like the friend that I want to talk to. And usually after that, I'd say the rest of those 30 minutes to an hour, let's just full send and talk about whatever. It's basically me bouncing random topics off the guest. I just love talking.
Hey, as long as you enjoy yourself, that's all that matters. What were some of the questions you were most excited to ask the guests over the time you've been doing the show?
I'd say some of the best random questions I came up with were a lot of them are actually improvised. They're just very how unhinged or how improvised can I make this? Because the way how I for example like do the episodes or kind of even in this situation of being here on the spot, I just kind of improvise an answer or kind of just bounce off whatever is said, and I think that's really cool. Some of my favorite things were from my very good friend Bradley, or sadly it's Bradley, known on YouTube. He also does VR content. Um, he had a salad for dinner in his first episode, and the first thing that we ever talked about with Brad was what salad toppings he liked.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
I guess that's the salad that everybody wants to get involved in.
I guess so.
Hmm.
Um, okay. What do you where do you hope that all of this will go? Like, what is it you want to accomplish?
I would say the direction it's going is amazing. I really love the direction and kind of stuff it's going, and I love meeting new people. I love talking to people, and honestly, I'm always looking to meet new people and meet new friends and have learn more about people because the for example, how I call of let's take cool person, put them into a podcast and deep dive into that person. I feel like just that would be cool for anyone because I feel like everyone has their own interesting story and we're all here for a reason. We all ended up in VR chat one way or another. Why are we still here, right? Why do we stick around, right?
Hmm. Okay. So, what are some of the next things you want to do, other than the mini series with the Trans Academy? What other kinds of things are you hoping to do in the future?
I'd say in general, I'm just a really in general creative person. Some things this summer I definitely wanted to aim for was getting back to the VR live streaming. I was thinking Beat Saber's pretty cool, swinging Beat Saber things and doing VR chat, just chatting live streams. I heard were pretty fun, and I do want to bring a bunch of friends together and do some like fun game stuff. I feel like that would be really cool. And in general, I feel like the rough cutting or basically rough cutting a podcast, the editing of a podcast. It's not that I don't like it. It's just doing it every other week. It's kind of a lot, um, and I wouldn't say boring, but I want something more. I want to go back to other editing, creative aspects of content because I miss it, and I want to start doing other VR videos. For example, one that I was thinking of was the Quest Pro and the Quest 3. Which one do I like better? The comparisons, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Hmm. Okay. Which headset are you using right now, may I ask?
The Quest Pro, I really like it. It is
Oh.
really cool. I need to still set up the Face 9 tracking.
Oh. How is the Quest Pro versus the headset you had prior to it?
The Quest Pro is very cool. It's very comfortable. I actually really like it. Of course, I feel like everyone gets a Quest Pro for the face and eye tracking capability. It is the only full headset with the six capabilities of wireless face and eye tracking, um, and just a bunch of other kind of things that other headsets do not have at the moment.
Hmm.
Like features and things that are not in one head mount display or HMD that will definitely come in the future because VR I think is I think we can all agree on this. It's still very niche.
Hmm.
Um, it's definitely going somewhere, but we gotta wait like 5 or 10 years to see where the technology goes.
Hmm. Give it some time, you'll see some cool stuff. It's just a lot of the time it's not going to happen overnight. Although some really cool stuff to look forward to, like Valve, for example, the makers of the Valve Index, has a secret project called the
Hmm.
Galea, which has brain scanning technology built like EKG, EEG, and other stuff like that built into it, where it would take
Yeah,
your
of
brain
course, I
scans and
have heard
stuff and
about that
do
one.
stuff. So give it time, you'll see some cool stuff being pushed out.
Yeah, of course. And
Hmm.
of course, the I feel like that one that's been in development for forever that we're all waiting on is the Valve the Deckard or the Decard that my
Hmm.
friend V called it. The Index 2. We are still waiting on that.
Indeed. Although to be fair, I don't think any headset Valve makes, I don't think is going to be a bad headset. Like, look at the Valve Index. They put so much love and attention to this. It's still one of the most sought after headsets years after it was posted. Like, it has not stopped. Like, even now when new people come into VR chat, Raptor and I still hear, I want a Valve Index. I want this headset, which is a testament to what they built. So whatever the decord's going to be, I'm sure it's going to rock the market.
Of course, yeah. The only reason why I didn't go for an index was, of course, I started on a Quest 1 for almost a full year. Please help me, it was terrible. Um, it was okay. I feel like people go for the Valve Index because of it has everything you need. The base stations, the full kit. You don't have, what people, I will mention this, if you're going for a index, do not buy it new from Valve unless you want the warranty. You can get a Valve Index kit pretty much fully new for like $500 off Facebook Marketplace if you know where to look. They're very good condition Valve Index kits and spare Valve Indexes, and even the Tundra Labs website has the refurbished ones, which are really good quality, and quality control is great. Because the Valve Index has been out for 4 or 5 years, and it's still an amazing device. The only thing that I feel like the Index is outdated on is the resolution. 1400 by 1600 per eye is not bad, but it could definitely be higher, and I feel like that will be improved in their newest headset. But other than that, it's still a great device.
I very much agree. Valve Index was my first headset, and still the same daily driver I've had since I got in here. What, 3-4 years ago? I don't remember how long it's been. It's been too long.
Yeah, and especially with the whole standalone market with VR and the way where that kind of is going. I mean, Meta is Meta, and I hate Zuckerberg and the amount of Zuck on these nuts jokes that I made. I would have like at least $1,000 by now.
Although Zuckerberg can be sort of funny at times. Like, he did an interview once a long time ago, and he's in, I think he's in his own game, Horizon Worlds, and he's sitting with the newscast, and he's like, want to see something cool? And then hits the boobs, the breast
Horizons.
Slider, and then the breasts
Oh,
come
no,
out in front of live
no.
news interview. It was the funniest thing. You can still go see the shorter clip of it.
Yo, Twitter, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out. Oh, that's hilarious. I have not heard about that clip.
You should, after this, you should totally go see the
now
clip.
you have.
And now I have to go look that
You
up.
gotta
I
see
have
it.
to go look that up.
Yeah. I think the best way to look up is Mark Zuckerberg Meta interview, and you'll see like a really short clip with obviously Mark Zuckerberg and with breasts.
Yeah.
As the thumbnail.
Yeah. That seems so cursed. Oh my god. Also, kind of, there has been a clip floating around. I mean, it's a little bit of an older clip, like 2-3 months old, of Mr. Zuckerberg saying that the Quest 3 is a better product than the Apple Vision Pro. Debatable.
I'm gonna be honest with you. From what I heard about the Quest 3, I think it may be, especially for price, for what you're paying for, because $3,000 for a augmented reality standalone headset is a lot. But with the Quest 3, you're paying a fraction of the price. You get like 70% of what it does.
I mean, I would have to totally agree with that. Price performance and what the Quest 3 can do is the best budget $500 system, and they are getting cheaper now because it's been around for like 4 or 5 months. You could find them, of course, on Marketplace for cheaper if you know where to look. Yeah, it is a great headset. The Snapdragon, the new one, I forget what, I think it's the XR2 Gen 2, is you on standalone VR chat, you will get 40 frames. It is insane on the performance of what it can do now. It is very powerful.
I actually didn't know that it was that powerful. I've personally no interest in getting a Quest 3, but it does seem very good for what the price is. Like, you wouldn't catch me dead paying for an Apple Vision Pro, and I don't even think you could play VR chat on it either.
That is a kidney. That is a whole arm and a leg for that thing. I'm outing Sadways Bradley here. Brad, I'm not sorry. He spent 4 grand on the 1 terabyte model. He sacrificed 1 month of food supply, sold his car to buy a $4,000 VR headset. What the fuck?
Well,
I just want to know what kind of car he was driving. What was it? A goddamn
That's what I'm saying.
flyer wagon with fucking moped motor in it and getting around town, or what? I just want to know. The hell do you sell your car and get something for 4 grand? What the hell kind of car was he driving? The thing he should have been took to the dump
well,
and buried in the backyard?
Yeah, was it like a beater car? What if I gotta go ask him that.
well, for 4 grand, you could have bought yourself a Quest Pro and spent the other 3 grand on getting an insane computer rig to connect it to push your performance,
Oh, of
to
course.
push all of that, and you could have got something probably just as good or better.
I mean, I will comment on this. I mean, Brad is a VR enthusiast. He's been around
to each their
for
own.
7 or 8 years in the VR industry. And, I mean, he's been looking for something like that. I feel like I've tried one. It is very nice. I would not spend 4 grand on it. It is a very cool device. Apple getting into the scene and putting more attention on VR, I feel like is very important. In a way, putting more mainstream attention on VR. I was talking with Brad and even a lot of people before on pre-order night even, and if the Apple Vision Pro in a way flopped, if you really think about it, VR attention for a little bit would have went from kind of an upscale to kind of plummeting a little bit because of if Apple's big VR headset failed, the mainstream media would be like, VR is dead. It's not really in.
Well,
it's kind of
on,
yeah.
on the
You know?
whole, VR
That's how
is dead.
mainstream
They
media-
say that every year, all the time. VR is
Yep.
dead, VR is dead, VR is dead. But ignore VR chat over there partying and raving with the funny colors. Don't look that way. But VR and the metaverse is most definitely dead. But it's not. It's still growing. I
You
think.
know, VR content definitely. I've even talked with shout out to Tizzy and Azil, Orange Man, and a bunch of other content creators that I've talked to and made good friends with. But even Tizzy said with VR podcasts and long form content, if me and you got into this whole market when VR was flourishing back 4 years ago, 2017, 2018, 2019. The theory would be, or even Tizzy said, we would have probably around 200,000 to 300,000 subs. It's just anything of the upscale of VR to what it was to kind of the flatline to what it is now. I mean, of course, VR will always be back on an upscale, but what VR YouTube is now, it is in a sense kind of dead. There's no VR news or content or a lot of games or general things coming out for VR. VR chat and everything might be flourishing, which it is. According to Tupper and a bunch of posts on Twitter and everything, every weekend, every day, we're getting a flourish of new players. We're hovering around maybe 150,000 people a day, 200,000 per weekend. Like keeps going up. But people are like, let's not pay attention to VR chat. Let's pay attention to all this. Like, look at all the YouTube stuff where it's like, Thrill Seeker's getting like 30K views and he has like almost 1 million subs. VR's dead.
Well, to be honest, I don't think it's necessarily VR content is dead specifically, because within recently, YouTube's algorithm has changed a couple of different times between when
Yeah,
VR,
of course.
VR chat, funny Uganda Knuckles meme, and now it's changed a whole bunch. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they even added AI, like stronger AI into the algorithm. Like, for example, that's probably trying to, from what I can see and piece together, I don't have a whole lot of data in terms of my YouTube channel stats, but it does look like the algorithm is trying to push like our content to people, even if it's been posted for a year plus or couple of months. And I think I think they're trying with different things to try and get that to work. The only downside is there's also other things with YouTube going on that unfortunately also affect us. And it's in terms of like
Yeah,
the
of course.
VR chat YouTube content, you're kind of at the on the whims of the entire platform as a whole. Even if it seems like VR content is dead, it's not necessarily dead, because if it was dead, VR chat wouldn't have a increasing number of accounts coming onto it.
Of course, of course. I would have to totally agree with you on that. I would say, rephrasing it a little bit, there's a lot of factors that are affecting that nowadays. Of course, the algorithms are big of what the virtual reality show and everyone says. The YouTube, all hail the holy algorithm of what of what we rely on, right? Us content creators, right? But it's also like I've talked about with Resh on many accounts of this too, of our what we do is very niche. A podcast, how much podcasts a year or a month actually succeed and make it past even 10, 15, 20 episodes, right? Or even keep going after that much. Or so podcasts in general are niche. Then you have VR chat or VR, which is also again very niche, and VR in general. Combining three niche things and smashing that into a VR sandwich, that is three niche things in one. Even if VR is kind of still flourishing in a way, or behind the scenes, even I call flourishing behind the scenes, it's a little hard for us to kind of even get noticed by the algorithm, even if the algorithm is different nowadays and it's trying to push smaller creators, which it is, of course. I see your stats and our stats, and it's kind of they are getting attention. We are getting we have a continuous flow of audience or people that love this stuff, and which find this content are like, oh my god, this is amazing. Where has this been all my life, right? But it's still very niche,
Mm.
and a podcast with VR, I feel like will eventually kind of in the long haul, in the long run, will work out. But it is a very rough combining three things into a VR sandwich is a little three niche
Mm.
things is
Well, the
also
that's
part of it too.
yeah, one of the things I've kind of figured after running Metaverse Degen, fuck, 2 years now, over 2 years, being as you said, a niche sandwich of multiple things, there really isn't very many successful channels to gauge what it will look like on. The kind of like whole new frontier of
Yeah, of course.
VR specific podcasts within VR chat isn't a whole lot of like wildly successful things. There are podcasts that happen in VR chat or about VR chat that are out there that do really well, but there is no like specific things in terms of those things. There are talk shows on Twitch and stuff, like the virtual reality show you can
Mm-hmm.
find on YouTube, but in terms of like podcast specific, there really isn't much to gauge. So
Much, yeah.
so with in terms of like how successful it can be, I don't know. I can't really comment. The only thing I could say is I enjoy doing it. I'm gonna continue it anyway. And even if this isn't something that'll ever pan out, at least for whenever it does, and even if we don't continue, there'll still be a wide array of people and things for people to see. Even if we don't are no longer making content, it'll still be there. But it's just for fun. Like especially in like the early
Of
stages of
course.
this niche, I'd heavily suggest like do it for fun and get better at it. Don't let the numbers get you down. If you enjoy doing it, eventually VR is going to explode again. I almost guarantee you, bigger than Uganda Knuckles boom and the COVID boom, because the tech is being pushed heavily. Apple, as we talked about earlier, Apple is making headsets, and I feel like
Yeah.
there's a push for this, which means eventually it's going to become accepted. It's going to become used, and whether or not you're there when it happens may be important.
Of course, I would have to totally agree on that. And there will be an uprise at some point. I feel like give it a year to 2 years, VR will definitely come back on an uprise. We just have to give it time. There will be another boom of VR. And like you said, I don't really care about the algorithm. I'm gonna keep doing what I love to do. This is fun. I'm gonna keep doing it. And when I kind of went around, also going back to circling back to the question of why I started a VR podcast, I went around on YouTube looking for VR podcasts to watch, and I was like, I really went digging and searching. Apparently, I didn't dig hard enough because I didn't find Metaverse Degen on there. Um, um, but I was like, there's no VR. There's like barely any VR content or podcast content. I'm like, well, if there's no content, I want to do it. Let's do it. Let's provide that. You know?
Hmm. And the funny thing is now is I believe in this last year I saw a whole bunch of VR chat podcasts spring up, and I'm one of those people that welcomes all of it. I want to see more. I want to see more people do it, like with what you do. Then we have Nova Notes, then we have VR and Chill, and then I think some of the people who run FurHub are doing their own podcast too, and I welcome every single last bit of it.
Of course, we do need more of this, like spreading more VR podcasts around. It's great.
Mm.
We do. I welcome all of it. It's very cool, and I'll be honest, I just love talking to friends.
Mm. Who doesn't like talking to friends? Being social is one of the most human interactions you can have, whether it's online or in real life. People want to be social. They want to feel connected to a group of people. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
What's my
and-
excuse?
Oh,
What do you mean, what's your excuse?
Oh, I come in here just to fucking pick on you because it gives me a better day.
I see how it is. Well, with that case, as we have a few friends who would like to put you in a rubber jacket and find new places for you to explore, one would say.
And you can believe that one because it's a true fact. And yeah,
He's got a long slew of nicknames he's heard because people enjoy the jokes.
mm-hmm. And don't bother me a bit of playing in that puddle.
Indeed, Rudy. Well, normally after some activities, there is a puddle afterwards.
Okay, sick
like a
bitch. You
rain
can
puddle,
calm
right?
down. We got enough.
like a rain,
No.
like a
Rain
rain, like
puddle?
a rain puddle,
A
right?
rain
like
puddle?
a rain, like
That's
we're
what
talking
you-
about a rain
that's what he wants
puddle,
to-
right? Hey,
Yeah,
yo,
about
wait,
a
we're
rain
talking, hey,
puddle.
yo, wait, hold on,
Yes,
wait,
yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be from lots of dancing and
Yeah.
exercise. It's just sweat.
Yes, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna come out with the Raptor exercise plan. Yeah, great. Mm-hmm.
100
I'll
push-ups,
get on
100
that.
sit-ups, 10-kilometer run. Let's do it.
What? Yeah. What? Thanks a lot, buddy. Yeah. You're gonna get on. Man, it's been a while. Sorry, folks. It's just getting deep in here, and I'm gonna go deeper.
The Raptor exercise plan. First, 100 squats. Repeat.
And then brush your teeth afterwards. Gotcha. Okay. So yeah.
Woo!
Well,
I guess we're getting that Raptors summer workout in. I mean, summer's coming up. Come on.
Oh wow, he's just going with the flow with this. He gets the idea right off the top, don't he?
oh, well there, Kaiyo. Thank you very much for joining us this wonderful evening.
Yes.
It's been an absolute pleasure
Yes,
getting to
very much
speak with
so.
and get to know you. So thank you for your time.
Yes.
Heck yeah! Thanks for having me on, you guys. This was a blast. This was very fun.
Oh, I'm glad
Mhm.
we are glad you enjoyed it. Where can the audience find you if they wish to find you?
Hello, I'm Kaiyo again. You can find me on YouTube at Kaiyo VR on YouTube. Yeah, I'd say that's the main place. Go check out the Trans Academy series season 1. It's an amazing series.
Mhm.
Raptor, now that I can actually say it, do the thing. Do the thing.
Okay, gotcha. No problem. You don't have to make a mess. We already got enough water out there as it is. So, folks, when you don't see me, and I'm sorry that I have been busy, the way things roll, and I'm knocking shit over on my table. When you're in VR and you see friends, give them a hell up and a hells up and all that fancy jazz, and come back around. Because guess what? Without it, we're not here, and we miss you too. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye.